What up, y'all? It's your boy Scott here. And make sure you click on that subscribe button right there so you don't miss out on one episode if I'm not going to hold you. And while you're there, cut on those notifications as well, drop a comment, and join in the discourse. I'm not going to hold you. The Patriots Dynasty documentary on Apple TV is 10-part series. They've been dropping 2 episodes at a time. They just aired episodes 5 and 6 this past Thursday night. I said that this one, even though I think it's a great documentary, we'll break it down in a minute. The Last Dance was a gift from the curse. And not to say the Patriots don't deserve a 10-part documentary, they do, because that's a lot of time. And then they were probably the NFL's most impressive dynasty just because of longevity. I mean, the dynasty started when I was 13 and it ended when I was like 30. So it's a very long ass time for a dynasty. Like, in fact, the first ever Super Bowl they won was my first Super Bowl party I threw. I was 13 years old. I thought I was that fucking nigga, bro. Like, I had, like, you know, them index cards just give. I made invitations from the index cards, and I would like hand it out to certain people in the school. My mom was like, "You got to invite everybody," and I said I would, but I didn't. There was a lot of I'm like, I don't fuck with this motherfucker. Like, even at 13, I'm like, I'm gonna invite certain people, and that was the first Super Bowl. That was the first Super Bowl they had, and so they deserve it. But everybody and mama got 10-part documentaries, and I don't think we all need that. But this particular one, my only concern coming in was how real were they gonna keep it with Deflategate, Spygate, and obviously the big elephant in the room, having a fucking serial killer on your team in Aaron Hernandez. And through these first 6 parts, they have addressed Spygate, and they have addressed the Aaron Hernandez thing. We've yet to get to Deflategate. I think that's the next episode. But this to me is an outstanding documentary so far. First of all, Apple TV, everything they produce is just crisp. Like, I just like how it looks. Like, even when they do like the sports presentation, like when they have the baseball games, Friday night baseball, and I haven't watched any of the soccer games, but I've seen, if I click on it a little bit, I see the production value. So I really like what Apple TV does, and so you can just see it from this documentary they got. But they've kept it extremely real. They have everybody on here, like pretty much everybody, even the guy who pretty much did everything with as far as Spygate. And they really, really, really went in depth into the Aaron Hernandez thing, which shocked me, because the Florida Gators documentary on Netflix, I think it came out last summer. I think it's called Swamp Kings.
Trash.
If you want to look at it from just a football perspective, it wasn't a bad documentary. But there was too many other stories off the field that they completely ignored. They made Urban Meyer look like Jesus Christ. That made it not a good documentary. And I know all documentaries have a little bit of propaganda in it. The winner decides to tell the story. We all get that. But this particular one, to me, is what made it really, really bad. But then if you look at this documentary, they kept it 100%. And with the Aaron Hernandez thing, that was as close you're going to get to a murder documentary produced by an NFL type thing, that I was very, very shocked from what I saw. Bang, I know you just saw the recent episode. What did you think about what you've seen so far?
Man, when I tell you that I was not expecting what I saw, it was definitely a surprise. Man, they really went deep in this. I had told my pops that was probably the most tense that I've ever watched a documentary in my life.
Yeah.
Because we knew what was coming, right? We knew what was coming. But then in knowing what was coming, it was one of those situations where you want to see how it was addressed, and then they went right to it. And Deion Branch was really like the key here. Really figuring out like how his role with the team was when it comes to Aaron Hernandez. And how he would talk to him and all of that stuff. So it was really deep. It was really deep. And I appreciate that. The ending got me though.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Bill Belichick intended here. But there's his response, and then there's Robert Kraft's response.
Yeah.
And I think Robert Kraft's response was what a leader should do.
More sincere.
More sincere. And Bill Belichick is not there in that case. And it kind of gives a good outlook. Not saying that he had to say anything outside of the realm of what was said, but sometimes just, and not saying that he had to apologize, but it came off. It came off to me. It came off a bit callous to the point where I'm not necessarily blaming Bill Belichick. They shouldn't have put his response in the documentary because it does not make him look good.
Yeah. No, and I'm gonna take it a step further. Disrespect intended. That was some bullshit.
Yeah. There we go.
You got he made Mustache Man the fall guy. Dude said everything Bill Belichick should have said. That, you know, we saw the red flags and we said, you know what? The football side outweighs all of that. Be honest. If you signed up to do the fucking documentary, don't sit there and say, well, you know, that's just a sad situation and you know, condolences. Especially when the nigga came to you and said, hey, bro, trade me to the West Coast because I don't need to be here no more. All right.
Yep.
I do think, you know, the way they angled it, especially because if you look at the name of the episode was At All Cost. Yep. And so essentially, you know, they said like, you know, this was a guy who told them, yo, I need to get away from here. And they said, you know, we just gave you $40 million. You're too valuable to this team. So that was one thing. But I agree as far as Mr. Kraft. Mr. Kraft is a real nigga. And I think the greatest part, even though, like I said, we know he was guilty, the fact that the first thing Robert Kraft said, and this showed you the relationship he had with his play, he was like, I'll get you the best defense attorney possible. I'm sure you had a valid reason. Like, you know, right. What's going on? Like his first thing wasn't to just, you know, cut ties and get rid of the dude. He was like, okay, I've at this point have this relationship with you, despite what he should have known already. So I fuck with Robert Kraft for that. And so, but I agree, this documentary's been really good. I would have liked to see Brady and Gronk say something, especially because I don't know if y'all remember that one interview when they tried to ask Gronk and he got up and walked out. You know, like it was him and his brothers, and like I think they were like in his living room or some shit. But I would have liked to see him say something, seeing as how they were drafted together and they were part of their draft class, and you had everybody else from the draft class say something
right next to him.
Right. Yeah, right. You lock her right next to him. Say something, bro. You know, I didn't expect Tom Brady. He's never mentioned anything about it. So
yeah.
But other than that, the documentary is pretty on point.
They even mentioned like a little quick rundown. I mean, not running he had with Aaron Hernandez one time where like Aaron Hernandez was on bullshit on the sideline, like doing some other shit. And Brady was like, man, get the fuck off the field. Like, what the fuck is you doing, dog? Like, just call them out real quick. But one thing I took from Bill Belichick, he does not take any accountability. Not just from this. He took zero accountability from the Deflategate thing, not Deflategate, Spygate thing. He dumped all that on Buddy with the mustache. And the number one thing I took from it, if Jeffrey Dahmer could catch, he would put that nigga on the Patriots. Like that's the number one thing that I took from Bill Belichick out of this documentary. Like Robert Kraft seems like a genuine guy, or as genuine as a billionaire can get. And you know, and that's the one thing that stood out to me. And even from a football perspective, like I love the what's my man Drew Bledsoe segment. Like Bledsoe has a lot of Bledsoe's a very, I gotta respect Bledsoe. The way he handled that situation was way better than how I would have handled that situation. And even
especially the Super
Bowl. And then Brady, you know, I like how they dealt with Brady's fear of when he got hurt and had the Matt Castle episode and saying, well, this is how I got my job. How Matt Castle might do the same thing to me. And, you know, going through that whole season. So I hope in the next episode they talk about why they got rid of Randy Moss. You know, when they traded him to fucking, I think they sent him back to Minnesota or some shit like that. But overall, it's been a good documentary. Courtney, I know you haven't seen it, but you've seen a couple clips. What have you thought from the couple clips that you have seen from the documentary?
Honestly, and it's kind of related to what we're going to be talking about in regards to the 18-game season, but like these brains need to be studied, man. The only clips that I have seen are the ones about Aaron Hernandez and like how that man was allowed to just exist in society, let alone in that locker room, is crazy. That's all I got.
Yeah, it was insane.
The studies.
Yeah, it was insane. And you were talking about Dante about like Deion Branch or he was Eubank. Like Deion Branch felt like he really looked like it didn't feel like an act to me. Like, oh, we was gonna throw this nigga up. Like he was legit disturbed, and like
he was shook.
He was shook. He had like a sort of relationship. I called him Chico.
No. I know about the relationship shit. It was more fear to me.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I don't know Deion Branch from a can of paint. But the moment they put that man on the screen, he looked like he was scared.
He looked like he saw a ghost.
Right. He looked like he saw a ghost right in front of him, asking him these questions. It was, man, make sure I don't incriminate myself type shit. Like, I've been there when you talk to somebody and they like, yo, you know, and you like, man, let me make sure. Like, that's how Deion Branch looked anytime they show him on the screen. Like, when, I don't know if it was Deion Branch that told Gronk, yo, Aaron Hernandez is going to say some wild shit.
No, that was Wes Welker.
Yeah, Wes Welker. He's going to do some wild shit, play with his genitalia, all of those things next to you. I'm sorry. I've been in a locker room atmosphere before. Ain't no locker room atmosphere going to allow some dude to be playing with his shit and right next to me.
Yeah, hell no.
So the signs was there. Buddy was off. Like, forget what we learned what happened. The signs was there that Buddy was off. Did they have a team therapist talk to him or something? Like, I really want them to go deeper into this Aaron Hernandez Patriots relationship. Did they have a team therapist to talk to him like that? I feel like
this is why I knew that they knew there was something off of that nigga. I don't remember that clip where Robert Kraft is talking to Belichick, like it's a training camp. He said, yeah, you know, he said, Rob is, you know, Robert, but Aaron's a great dude. He has a genuine heart. He's an amazing guy. And Belichick looked at him like, nigga, please. Like,
yeah. That was crazy. Belichick looked at him like,
yeah.
And that kind of stuff, that's a relatively new phenomenon. Like the discussions around mental health, especially with male athletes, that's not something that's been like in what was that, 2009?
Yeah, that's 2009.
Really So let me preface this by saying there's therapy, then there's something wrong. And I think in this case,
Chef Boyardee from getting hit so many damn times.
Right. I think in this case, there's, like I said, there's therapy, and then it's past that. It just seems like to me, from the moment they started talking about this, there was something way wrong. Pat, even when he said, yo, trade me, even when he said trade me to a team on the West Coast, like, he didn't say trade me to the Bears. He didn't say trade me to Green Bay. He didn't say trade me to Dallas. He said trade me to a team all the way on the other side of the country. Basically, and if somebody would have traded him to LA, considering what was tattooed on his finger, that would have been a bad decision.
Oh,
so basically, Buddy was like, yo, trade me to somewhere totally on the opposite side, but I still got some people that I could talk to. That's basically what that was. They could have traded his ass to Green Bay, and he would have just been up in there bored as hell at Chili's after the game.
Yeah, kill a nigga at Steak and Shake.
Like, man, so, which leads me to this, about the whole Aaron Hernandez thing. And yeah, clearly it was Football Inc., as they were saying. Clearly it was Football Inc. But still, in Football Inc., you would have some type of care for the player who's on your team. And it just seems to me that Bill Belichick got exposed in that way. And it might not necessarily be a secret that I think we're going to start to see next episode where people stopped playing for him and started to play for Tom. Because we didn't get to that yet. We didn't get to the whole, well, we know about this Patriot way, but, you know, we ain't play for Belichick. We play for Tom. I got a feeling that this right here was the beginning of fuck Bill, we love Tom.
Yep.
That paper on display, haters old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna